And it's not just humans. Your pets may be missing some important vaccines as well. Coming up next, getting up to date on women's health after coronavirus. And what about your four-legged family members? Catching up at the vet, coming up after the break. COVID-19 is affecting when pet parents are vaccinating their four-legged friends, and Brittany is joining us now with more on that. Brittany?
Yeah, well, COVID-19 is affecting when pet parents are vaccinating their four-legged friends, and it could be putting them at risk. Dr. Tony Kremer with Kremer Veterinary Services joins us this morning to talk about why it's so important to get your pets vaccinated. And Dr. Kremer, it's interesting because this is something we've talked a lot about with children. You know, my daughter went through a phase where she had to get her vaccines while in quarantine, and a lot of people are refraining from bringing their pets and animals in. What are the dangers when you wait to get your pets vaccinated?
Well, yeah, let's just summarize. I mean, pet owners have had a lot to think about in the last few months, and a lot of their pets have come due for their vaccinations and their wellness examinations during these last 3-4 months. And you know, again, sometimes there's question about, you know, the safety and whatnot about taking them in. And again, a lot of stuff going on, but super important to get your pet checked. We always talk about the fact that a once-a-year examination on your pet is like us seeing the doctor every 7 years. Obviously, that once-a-year check, very, very important for us to do on your pet so that we early detect problems and keep that pet as safe as possible. And about vaccinations and wellness care, a lot of vaccinations that we give our pets are actually for diseases that people can get. So keeping your pet healthy and up to date on their shots is also a great way of keeping our family healthy. And that's super important. So we cannot neglect that. At our animal hospitals, we're open 7 days a week. Our hospital in Plainfield is open 24 hours a day, and I just have to throw a shout out to all of our employees who have really, you know, been amazingly motivated and taken the risk to keep our hospitals open so that any pet out there that needs care, needs help, I mean, it's being taken care of. And a lot of those situations are tough because again, illness doesn't take a break because of all these different things going on.
That is so true. Well, what are some of the essential vaccines that your pets need to have right now?
Well, we talk about, for both dogs and cats, rabies and distemper vaccine is kind of being a core vaccine for them. Vaccines that, again, like rabies, something we want to keep at bay and not a problem in our country as it is in so many other countries with deadly disease that can affect people. But also these other vaccines like canine influenza, Lyme disease, leptospirosis, again, diseases that are very, very common in pets. And those vaccines do not last more than a year. So those pets have to have those vaccinations renewed once a year. The other thing too I make a comment of is don't forget our cats. So many of our cat parents just don't get their cats in every year, and I know it's tough to bring a cat in. They're not as amenable to a car ride and whatnot, but their health is so important. And many of the problems that we pick up on an examination with cats increase their lifespan because we detect early kidney problems or early liver problems, bad dental disease. All those things are able to be dealt with much easier if we figure it out early.
Yeah, well, you got to get them in. Like you said, it is so important to make sure that they're up to date on all their health and checkups. What are just some tips that you have for pet owners, especially during this time? You know, we're all trying to figure out how to navigate this new normal. So what are some tips that you have for pets while navigating this as well with them?
Well, probably my biggest tip is that it's a little bit more difficult to see the veterinarian right now because, you know, we're taking precautions to try to keep our employees safe. So we're still doing curbside service, and so it's a little more difficult. People pull into the parking lot, they call in, they get into a queue. Their pet, we either go out or bring their pet into the hospital, talk to the owner on the phone. And I just want everyone to be waits at times. You know, we pride ourselves on getting people in and out of the vet as fast as possible at our locations, but it just takes a little bit longer, and it just requires a little bit more patience on the client side.
Yeah.
But we're going to do everything we can to move things along as quickly as possible. And again, talking to the owners on the phone, a little bit more difficult to get without face-to-face contact, to get across all the information that we need to. But we are there. It is working, and hopefully shortly down the road here we'll be back to normal, having our clients in the exam room face-to-face with veterinarians again.
Well, I think you hit it on the head. Hopefully soon we will all be back to normal. Dr. Kremer, thank you so much for stopping by with us today. We appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks for having me on.
All right, back to you, Sylvia.